Oh, indeed. Welcome, and thank you very much indeed for coming. I've got a copy of your book, Let Me Decide, from a friend of mine a few days ago, and having read it, there's certain thoughts in it I'd like to discuss with you further, and some of the views that are expressed in them. I've brought Daniel with me to help me and look after some of the questions as well. I think it's a very interesting book, but I just feel now at this stage, because as you know probably, one member of my family has Alzheimer's, and we're looking down the line various areas, and perhaps it could be me a year or two when I need to discuss some of these aspects, and rather than have confusion after I went with the family, I'd like to discuss further your thoughts on this.
The first case we'll do right now, the reversible acceptable. So right now, you have an acceptable quality of life.
Yes.
And if you got an illness, say like a pneumonia or a bleeding ulcer, that could kill you, but with medical treatment it could be completely cured, what would you want from the choices? You have the 4 choices for treatment.
Yes, that's right.
You have palliative. Have you read these now?
Yes, I'd want that.
Limited.
Yes.
Surgical.
Yes.
And intensive
care. Yes.
Intensive care.
Yes.
So right now you'd want intensive care.
Yes.
And if your heart stops when you're in intensive care, when you're sick, would you want people to try to get it going?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
So CPR. And if you needed tube feeding, would you want tube feeding?
Uncomfortable? I think I would. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's. I noticed you filled it in that you want. You've written down intensive CPR and tubes.
That's right.
The second situation is if you were in an unacceptable quality of life and it was irreversible. It wasn't a temporary measure.
That's right. Yes.
It's something like Alzheimer's disease or a very severe stroke, or you had a hemorrhage or a severe head injury.
Yeah.
And there's no hope of recovery now.
I'd use the word, if I was in a very, very confused state, first of all, and then it led to, I was in a permanent coma, for instance, or if I didn't recognise my family, or if I was incontinent and couldn't use the toilet by myself, or my bowels weren't working. I think I'd want to, I shouldn't use the words, probably slip away, because basically it's irreversible. The medical people must at this stage realise that they're not going to cure me, perhaps, but basically what would sadden me most of all, if I had my way at that period, that I didn't know my family, my kids who lived with me for 50 or 60 years, whatever the case may be, and I didn't know them, and people had to feed me, had to wash me and things like this. So I just feel that I just want to be warm and, looked after, but I don't want any really, medical things just to keep me going for a week or 2 or 3, whatever the case may be, And I think that's where the difference I have between one area and the other area.
So I noticed you filled in there.
Yeah.
Tell me what you filled in there.
Palliative. Limited surgical intensive.
So you said palliative here.
Yes, that's right.
And if your heart stops?
No CPR. I think I want to go.
And would you want tube feeding if you couldn't swallow?
No, I don't think so. Okay. Basically, I'm now, in a very, I'm sick, really very badly sick. And I think that I just would be happy enough to that stage when I'm lying there, not knowing anybody or anything. I think I've had a good life, I would be saying to myself. And I think, now the reason why I want to discuss this in a sense with you really is that, I could leave a lot of confusion at this period of my life with my kids, my children. 2 of them might want to do this and 2 of them might want to do something else. So when I read this and I hear your forms to fill in, I'm quite happy with what I now understand and your help a little bit, and perhaps I will read it again and the family will read it again with each other, and we'll all come to the decision that this is what I want, and I would hope that that's what they would do for me. But I don't want any confusion left when I leave this wonderful world.
It's brilliant. So Daniel is going to be your proxy.
Yes,
so
indeed.
If something happens to you, we will go to Daniel because Daniel knows your wishes.
Exactly.
But you'll also fill it out and show it to your children.
Well, we'll fill it in. We'll fill it in together.
Yeah,
The
and say,
children
"This
and
is what I
myself will
want."
fill it in together. And this is, now this may never happen.
Yeah.
This may be lying in somebody's solicitor's office or something else may never happen, but at least they'll know what my wishes are, because I could foresee, I have 6 children, and I could foresee 3 of them want to do it this way and 3 of them want to do it that way. This way it is. And I'm not saying that I wanted, it's when the doctors believe that the only way they can keep me alive is by doing certain things, and it might be only for a little limited time. And I'll be at that stage ready to meet whatever is ahead of me, and I would hope that I'm heading upstairs.